it cannot go well before I comment on the current topic that has been forcefully put to our platform. Yeah, and I guess you know what topic that is. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it, and if you have not viewed my latest videos, please view them. Thank you for those who have kept watching what I'm posting, because I don't take it for granted. It's because of you that I'll reach where I want to be by December. So, let us look at RIGATHI. So, the Sunday Mass tells us a lot. You know, many people have begun to speculate that RIGATHI seems to be ready to repent. In fact, if you look at the today's newspapers, especially the Kiswahili, you know, Kiswahili has a way of making things look so funny. The highlight was RIGATHI atubu. So we were looking at it with my colleagues, and we were saying, okay, so why did the news people decide to pick such a title? And I thought it's because he went to church on Sunday, where Pastor Dorcas is. And Pastor Dorcas already began to talk about enemies. Yeah? And when RIGATHI stood up, what did he do? He began to ask for forgiveness. You know, just like, you remember Ruto did that. Yeah. So I'm going to bring RIGATHI's video before I'll go back to Ruto's video. And why will I do that? I wonder why such a history has to keep recurring. Now, will RIGATHI be forgiven, or will it be just the same case as what happened to Ruto? Now, let's get to details and see what he said in the video.
To my brother, President William Ruto, if in our zeal to work, I have wronged you, please find it in your heart to forgive me.
So you heard him. All that I like about what RIGATHI said here is that he said we must keep loving each other. So Kenyans, regardless of whoever you are standing with, yeah, I've seen so many comments. Some calling him, is it cassava? Who has refused to get out of office, and he has caused ulcers and pressure to some people. There was another lady who said, did he call another lady of Somali existence? I don't know. Did she call you Gachagua or what? Gachagua aende nyumbani analeta shida kwa serikali. So when I look at all that, plus any other person who has spoken, plus what I heard from Bomas and any other part, all I have to do is to laugh, because so far, so many Kenyans are not seeing the relevance of this discussion. And as RIGATHI has said, let the war or contest remain in the hands of politicians. I don't know why people don't see that we have two classes in this country, politicians and the rest of the subjects. We also have the rich and the poor. Now, it's only you to secure yourself a different class from what you have currently. Establish first which class you are. Now, when you look at RIGATHI, he's purporting to be very humble. Now, I'm comparing him to the times he was speaking at Nairobi. He was addressing the people in Nairobi town. He went further to address others in Githurai. Then he went to Meru. Okay, some people said, when someone is hurt, mbwa akipigwa anakimbia akienda wapi? Nyumbani. Which is okay. Such statements make our day. Yeah, so if you don't get it, forget about it. I always say that. Now, one thing I want to say is the gist of all this is that these two people know why they are fighting. And we had it even before they got into this aspect of impeachment. You remember Senator Onyang told us that the loot is the problem. I was just seeing another post indicating Rigiji and some sort of billions and some what have you. Now, in another statement today, what did he say? He said when he asked for forgiveness, it's not like he was ready to testify for what they're accusing him for. He was only doing that in church as a process to create room for unity of Kenyans and make them, because he mentioned that especially people from Rift Valley stay in peace because we have to continue doing business, marrying, getting children, you know, running our life, which is okay. The only thing I'm not understanding is this sort of humility. If you contrast the one person speaking to many various people and that who is standing here. Anyway, all that can be the hands of you as comment. If you have to comment, a comment. Why do you think he is so humble now? Is he guilty? That is my question anyway. I'm not judging, but I'm just asking, is he guilty? Or does he think that things will not go right for him? But still today he said he was elected by how many people? 7.2 million? And therefore, there is no way he can budge. That whatever will happen, let it happen. Now, in church, I want you to be very keen and look at the face of Wamshamba. You remember, Wamshamba has been fighting tooth and nail for Gachagua. And she has been actually saying great looters are elsewhere. Tribalists are elsewhere. Which is true, of course. Even though Gachagua might be tribalist, corrupt, and all that, but don't we have great looters in this government? All right. So now we'll go back to the history of how Ruto once testified, or rather asked for forgiveness, and let's compare the North and see. Because even Gachagua himself has said this is a repetition, it's history. Yeah, right? Yeah.
I may have fallen short of expectations of my boss, His Excellency the President, my good friend. I ask for your forgiveness. I know also in this journey, many people have hurt me. But on this prayer breakfast, I forgive everybody. I forgive everybody.
The president.
You head to retirement. It's my prayer that God will give you every aspiration of your heart.
Watching that, I hope you can clearly see that when Ruto was apologizing, it was just a formality, I believe, because as long as he was saying he has forgiven, there's some bitterness you can see, yeah, and the mood is tensed. And the president at that moment, Kenyatta, was motionless. And I believe if you follow the news, you realize that even later he came up and was talking about Raila and the team that he was supporting. He had already erased the vice president in his mind. And Martha Karua stood and talked about politics that should be made on respect and ideas and not, you know, they should not accuse abuses on each other. Then at the end, Ruto stood and said he hopes that when Ruto will retire, he will have what he expected, that is the peace. Now, I'm looking at the failure of the current government, and I can see actually Uhuru is apprehending himself because even though there were conflicts that came up, but it was after almost 10 years, the 10 years tenureship. The other thing is that even though he was blamed for so much many things such as the downfall of the economy. There was the rise in price of oil. There was the rise in the price of maize flour and all that. He always apprehends himself because it did not end as it is ending with the current. After serving only for the few years, there is a hot conflict that has brought in the opposition strongly. It has created hooligans who are punishing or almost killing people like Morara. Those who are buying, if that is true, Makaure. Those who are fighting the church and all those dramas, they were not there. So if we look at the reaction, what is the reaction from the president? From the beginning of this impeachment discussion, the president has been quiet. The exchange was only before, but up to now, it is quiet and business as usual for the president. So, we will be watching for more. Maybe by tomorrow, we don't know. So if you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and let's await to see what will come up, because they have made us to discuss this. So what do? We have to keep discussing.